action.
Well, look, after a glorious night of NBA and guys putting up monster numbers, I got to pull out a word of the day to start this day off right, and it's Genesis, okay? The origin of something when it has begun or starts to exist. Listen, Adam Silver, if you was in studio right now, I'd give you a fat kiss on the cheek. You know why? Because you came up with the play-in tournament. It has been one of the best things that's happened to the NBA. You know why, Malika? Because the playoffs has officially started for a lot of teams, whether they trying to stay in the playoffs or get into the play-in tournament and keep their spot to have a chance to get into the postseason. So we saw last night and we witnessed stars starring, but we also witnessed guys competing at a high level because every game matters right now.
All right, Perk. Well, we're still trying to understand, right, the genesis of the Luka trade, to use your word of the day. But a new era is in Dallas. It is underway. The Mavs, they took on the new-look Warriors last night. It felt like a playoff game type of atmosphere when these two took the court. So let's pick it up, Perk, in the third quarter here. Steve Kerr, as the Warriors crept back into this game, his temper got a little hot.
He doing all that crying. What the babies go do? He should have had them more disciplined defensively because Dallas had whatever they wanted.
Out at midcourt there, in timeout, yelling at an official. He would get teed up there. And then a few minutes later, Kyrie Irving hits a three. What a game for Kyrie.
This stretch right there was crazy. He had three straight. I think this is the last one of them.
Yeah, that is absolutely right, Shams. Kyrie Irving nails the three again there. So let's go ahead to the fourth quarter here, Perk. Just over 5 to play. The Warriors down by 7. Steph Curry hits the corner three.
I mean, look, wide open. The ball movement was beautiful. You can't leave him off a pin down right here. Got him again.
Curry with the wing once again. Golden State now in front. Under 2 to play. All tied up at 104. Irving hits the right wing. Dallas now up by 3.
He loves that side of it.
And then minute and a half left to play. Still a 3-point game. Dallas turnover. Moses Moody misses it, but there's Jimmy Butler to clean it up inside, Kendrick.
I mean, that's what one of the reasons they brought him in. Jimmy does everything. Jack of all trades.
Huge bucket here for Najee Marshall. Hits the floater to put the Mavericks up by 2. So, Perk, 23 seconds left in the game. Golden State down by 2. Butler drives. Blocker charge.
Charge.
Steve Kerr would review it, but the call would stand as a charge. Here's Irving talking to Scott Van Pelt about the game and taking this charge.
You got to put your body on the line, Scott. You got to put your body on the line, man. You got to leave it all out there. This is what the NBA is about.
Put his body on the line. He did, and 42 points on the night. Dallas gets the win, 111-107. And we knew this. Kyrie, certified bucket. Last night, he became the 4th player in Mavericks history with a game of 40 points, made 60% of his shots. He did have no assists. It was one of the first things he told our friend Scott Van Pelt after the game is that he thought he should have maybe had more assists. But he is the Mavs engine right now, down so many players here. So let's welcome in our Mavericks reporter, Tim McMahon. Howdy, Tim. You were in the building last night, and obviously we've covered in depth how devastated the Mavs fan base has been after this Luka Doncic trade, but it seemed a little bit lighter in the arena last night. How was the atmosphere? You were there.
Howdy, Malika. You called it a playoff-like atmosphere. I'm going to say it's more like a March Madness type of atmosphere, and that's partially because there was a whole lot of Warriors fans in the building, almost like a neutral crowd. They were outnumbered, but anytime the Warriors are on the road, there's going to be a lot. Probably a few more Mavericks fans were motivated to sell their tickets this time. Honestly, I was surprised that I didn't hear any type of fire Nico chants, those sort of protests. There wasn't the crazy security activity, the over-aggressive security activity that there was on Monday night. And listen, Kyrie Irving gave the Mavericks fans that were in the building something to cheer about. This was a spectacular shot-making performance by Kyrie Irving. This was the kind of performance the Mavericks desperately needed. Their leader, the guy who was the leader when Luka was here, the guy who is definitely the leader of this team now, to deliver. And it wasn't just about the shot making. It wasn't just about the energy, the calm that he's had really since he's been here, but definitely throughout this entire ordeal it's unfolded over the last couple weeks. as he said, as he told SVP, he put his body on the line with the game on the line. That's leadership. It's not just do as Kyrie says, it's do as he does.
And this was certainly a morale boost that the Mavs fan base and the team seemed to need heading into the All-Star break. Tim McMahon, adios amigo, thank you so very much. The Warriors, the Mavs, just one of 15 total games around the association last night. So let's go coast to coast on the action with our senior writer Brian Windhorst, our senior insider Sham Charania joining us here. Let's start in Denver, where Jamal Murray put up a career-high 55 points in a win against the Blazers. Perk, I am going to start with you. The Nuggets have won an NBA best 8 straight games. Are they the biggest threat to the Thunder out west?
They absolutely are. We know what Jokic is going to bring to the table. He's been doing that all season long, well, his entire career. But now the others are stepping up. Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, Christian Braun. I'm sorry, Nuggets fans, he has elevated his game, but they are the second best team in the Western Conference right now, more complete team.
And one of the biggest shockers of the night, maybe, the Giannis and Dameless Bucks took down Ant and the Timberwolves. Ant came in with 3 straight 40-point games, but shot just 10 of 33 in a 2-point loss. So, Brian, Perk said that he thought that Ant would be standing on business here. What happened?
Well, they were really red hot, the Wolves, the last few games, but they've lost their mojo. And when Ant has a low-efficiency game, they don't have as many offensive options as they did a year ago.
Well, lastly, the Suns' slump continued. They fell to the Rockets 119-111 in their last game before the break. KD did finish with a game-high 37. They have fallen all the way down to the 11th seed, a game out of 10th. There was no Devin Booker in this one, no Bradley Beal, but still, the Suns really need to start racking up these wins because the All-Star break is coming at a good time for Phoenix. They've had a rough month, but hey, a lot of folks have, so let's just breathe here. Phoenix just 1-6 in their last 7 games this month. That's tied for their second worst in the league right now. Another issue is that the games, they haven't really been close. They've been outscored by almost 11 points a game. So, Brian, is there anything, do you think, to be hopeful here for the Phoenix Suns?
I wish I had a different answer. The Suns, some of the parts just don't make sense. They have a lot of talent. They've really worked hard to build out this team. When they first put Durant and Beal together, they didn't have a good supporting cast. I think they do now. They have built out guards. They have made some trades to get wings and to get big men. But Malika, you put them together, and it's not equaling wins. You are what your record says that you are. For a while, they had a pretty good record with Durant on the court, and then when he was out with injury, they were well below 500, and you could kind of just hope that if Durant was healthy that this team would play well. But even those hopes have diminished because Durant has been on the court recently. He's been playing well, putting up big numbers, and they've been losing. It's extremely frustrating. A team that is the most expensive team in the league with this kind of star power is multiple games under 500 going into the break.
Say it, Wendy. Say it. Say it. How do you have this much talent on the roster and not be successful, right? And has underachieved. The second, they're right there with the Philadelphia 76ers as far as most disappointing teams. Why is that? You get a new head coach. You got some offensive firepower. You thought you filled the void as far as the positions that needed to be filled, the point guard position, the center position. You got a nice little young stud in the kid Richards you just acquired. Every time I look up, he's having a double-double. Why can't this turn over to wins? I'm not about to sit up here and bash KD today about leadership, right? But there's something going on that's not clicking. When you look at this team, they play a bunch of individual basketball. There's nowhere in hell you have a veteran squad that can't pull together and know that, hey, you know what? We don't know what's going to happen in the future, in a few months down the line when the season is over. Yeah. We don't know who's going to get traded. Why can't they pull together right now and turn these losses into wins?
But Perk, they knew this roster was incomplete and needed something. That's why they tried so hard to go and get Jimmy Butler. This is an incomplete basketball team. They're missing that toughness, that edge. You've been talking about it since December. This team needed that toughness and that grit. We're seeing what Jimmy Butler does for the Warriors. He's willing to sacrifice his stats. He just wants to win. He's able to do the little things for Stephen Curry and for Draymond Green. Right. That's what they wanted here. I think this next second half of the season, to me, is just appreciating the joy of watching Kevin Durant and appreciate his game. I mean, he's 6th in the NBA right now in points per game. He leads the NBA in field goal percentage on jumpers. He leads the league in field goals, the jump shots per game. His game is aging gracefully, and Listen, the Golden State Warriors, and I talked to people around there, they really feel like they had an agreement in place to go get Kevin Durant and bring him back. The only problem was Kevin Durant did not want to go back. He wanted to finish out the season in Phoenix. He wants to enjoy playing with this younger type of roster that we saw last night. I mean, there were some players on that team last night in first, second, third year, very young. And so this summer is going to be a different story. I think there's going to be some hard conversations between the Suns and Kevin Durant in communicating and figuring out his future.
I think we have a lot of conversations, to your point, about Steph and about LeBron and about whether or not a year here or there, was this a wasted year? And I sort of wonder why those conversations haven't started with Kevin Durant, because he's done everything. He's averaging 27 a game. He's mentioned in trade rumors his team is under 500. I don't think that's fair to one of the game's greats. And it's going to be very interesting to see. It's something that the rest of the league is tracking, what is going to happen to him this summer. We got a lot to get to. Los Angeles Lakers career. It didn't go exactly as the first one did. Picking it up in the first quarter, game tied at 2. What? Perk, how is that pass possible?
There's only 3 people that can make that dime. Luka, LeBron, and Jokic in the NBA.
and Luka said, you know, I think it's going to take my teammates a little time just to get used to that. Look out, Lauri Markkanen coming through. Second quarter here, 4 minutes left in the first half. Jazz up by 6. Keontae George.
That's a charge. Ask a guy to put their body on the line. That's a charge. Luka have a right to complain on that.
Well, he's asking for a charge. It wouldn't be called. George got the shot to fall somehow. And then the Lakers, they leave Walker Kessler wide open in the paint for the dunk. Just not a lot of rim presence here for the Lakers, especially when Hayes got hurt in this one. Third quarter here, Austin Reeves.
And these passes are on time, on target. Look at that.
That's nice.
Talk about dropping it in the bread basket.
16 points, 4 assists, 5 turnovers, though, for Luka Doncic. And then here, Lauri Markkanen, just too easy there. And then the Jazz up 20 here. Markkanen drives, dunks it all over Alex Len there. Len just had no chance on that one. Markkanen had 32 points, 5 rebounds. So the All-Star break is coming at a pretty good time, right, Luka?
Obviously. Today I felt a little bit rusty, you know, 2 games in after my injury, turnovers, missed free throws, so I got to do way better. But now I think we're approaching this break, so we got to rest. For me, I think it's more mental rest than anything else, but still got to work. So I'm excited about this break, and I can't wait to go back to play.
It was just the second game for Luka with the Lakers, but it wasn't one that ever really got going here. The Lakers, they were outscored by 19 points when Luka was on the court, and that was his worst plus-minus in any game this year. Of course, he is still working his way back from injury and into a new system here. Also, the Lakers, they've had Jackson Hayes get hurt in this one. Brian, is this loss at all concerning for LA, or is it just, you know what, we're going to flush this one before the All-Star break?
Yeah, I'm not super concerned by it, but I mean, we all knew that they had issues in the interior, and that's, you know, the whole league knows it. You saw it was in the Jazz game plan, getting to play them twice in 3 days. And look, Walker Kessler goes 8 of 8, okay? And you saw in those highlights, Lauri Markkanen going to the basket, not worried about any rim defense. That's going to be an issue for them. You know, they were not a great interior defensive team. Even when Anthony Davis was there, he was great. But as a team, they allowed some scoring on the interior. And so, look, that's going to be something they have to deal with. They do have really good size on the perimeter. They have great length, and they have really strong wings. And so JJ Redick's going to have to work on trying to set something up that will take advantage of that. But definitely that's something they'll have to mitigate, and their matchups in the playoffs will maybe dictate their chance of success. The other thing, Malika, that I'm seeing very early on here with Luka is he's trying to fit in. You know, LeBron in the huddle the other day before his first game said, hey, fit out, don't fit in. He means it. And so what I mean by that is he's really not holding the ball and dominating the ball the way he did in Dallas. And I know that he's doing that, I'm sure, to fit in and to have Austin Reeves and LeBron still be able to have their touches. But the guy that they've acquired is the guy who controls the ball and sets things up. These passes are a result of him making really good decisions and being very dangerous with the ball. So I suspect after the break, we're going to see Luka have the ball more and be more like the Dallas Luka. That's who the Lakers want anyway.
Look, it's going to take time, right? And it's clear that Luka is out of shape, and rightfully so, because he's missed almost 2 months of basketball with a calf strain. So it wasn't too much that he could do on the court. And then you got to think about the mental part of it. You getting traded from the Dallas Mavericks. You got so many emotions. The Lakers welcome you with open arms. And he's right. He need this All-Star break to reset.
Yeah.